Welcome to Who Knew with Bruce Lubin from quickanddirtytips.com. I'm Jennifer Boudneau, the editor of the Who Knew books. Today, Bruce and I are going to be talking about Halloween, one of our favorite of all holidays. We've got some pumpkin tips, we've got some candy tips, and we've got also a new feature that I'm very excited about. But first, if you've ever felt like you've had to choose between getting new blinds or holding on to your life savings, those fears end now, thanks to SelectBlinds.com. Select Blinds won't gouge you like those big greedy blind corporations. Just check out the over 170,000 five-star reviews on their site. Shop today at SelectBlinds.com. Mention you heard about them on a podcast at checkout and get sample swatches, absolutely free. That's SelectBlinds.com. Well, hello, Bruce.
Hello, Jen.
Happy Halloween.
Yes, and back at you.
How does your house look? Is it all covered in decorations?
Tricked out in cobwebs and dry ice with bowls, smoking all over the place.
I try to do a cobweb here or there, like when I'm in the mood. Of course, I use the Who Knew method of just buying that polyfill that you can get for pillows and other things at the craft store, and then you just spread that out, and it looks just like that's my only real Halloween decoration that I do. Maybe just because it's a Who Knew tip.
I'm sorry to hear that's the only one.
Well, I get more into it for Christmas. So I'm really excited today. We have a special new feature that I know that you know about, and I want to tell everyone about, with the pennyhoarder.com.
Yay.
We're awesome. I will say that we're awesome. But they're more awesome than us in terms of specifically money saving stuff. You know, we know our money saving tips, but I mean, they really dig in and find these great deals.
Well, I'll tell you who's awesome is Kyle Taylor, and he's the founder.
Yeah.
So he started this, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it has really taken off because he provides the service. And these tips are, can I say, on the money? How about
That's
that,
good.
Kyle?
That's good.
It's not good, but they're fantastic.
Yeah, he was paying off his debt, and he started it as his own blog, and it just turned into this huge site that has all these great writers and all this stuff.
So valuable. It's such great information.
Are you ready? Are you ready for our first Penny Hoarder tip?
Hi, I'm Lisa Rowan from The Penny Hoarder with today's money hack. If you want to fly home for Thanksgiving but don't want to spend your savings, then this tip is for you. The best time to buy Thanksgiving airline tickets is about 60 to 70 days ahead of the holiday. But it's okay if you miss that window. Travel experts say prices don't vary much until about a month ahead. As long as you finalize your Thanksgiving air travel plans by Halloween, you shouldn't be paying ridiculous prices. You could also plan your travel for less popular days, specifically Monday, November 21st through Friday, November 25th. These hacks could save you 20% on flights, so be sure to mark your calendars. For more money hacks, visit thepennyhoarder.com.
Wow, I love that one. That was really good.
Thanks, Lisa.
Smart. Yeah, you got to start thinking about that now. Awesome. Well, before we go on, a bit more about our sponsor, SelectBlinds.com. You don't have to choose between saving money and updating your window treatments anymore. SelectBlinds.com has got you covered, and their loyal customers seem to agree. Just check out the more than 170,000 five-star reviews on their site. At SelectBlinds.com, you can choose from a selection of high-quality custom blinds, shades, and drapes. It's the simple and smart way to get blinds. Select Blinds makes it easy to do it yourself, without going it alone. Measure, choose, and install your own new window coverings with the support of their online specialists. If you can hang a picture, you can hang your own blinds. They've served over 1 million happy customers. Why not be one of them? Shop today at SelectBlinds.com. Mention you heard about them on a podcast at checkout and get sample swatches of the room darkening blinds or shades of your choice. Absolutely free. That's SelectBlinds.com. So, Halloween.
I can't wait.
What's your favorite Halloween song?
My favorite Halloween. I mean, I guess, do you have to say Monster Mash?
Yeah, you do.
You do. Okay. So
Isn't that everyone's favorite Halloween song?
I think it is.
Someday when everyone recommends this podcast to all their friends and we have the money, we'll actually be playing Monster Mash right now. But we don't have the money for that right now, people. You got to review our podcast before that happens. Okay, when I think of Halloween, pumpkins.
Well, I want to ask you something first. What are you going to be? Do you have a costume picked out?
I don't yet. I gotta find something. I'm single, so it's single person Halloween. It's a little different than the kid thing. In fact, it's very different.
I bet it is. My position on Halloween costumes is that these store-bought ones, forget what they cost. Like, they're so unoriginal. You just go in and you buy a custom.
Yeah.
So there's a billion you can make. I think this year what I'm going to do is get a laundry basket and cut out the bottom and put it around my waist. And I'm going to fill it either with stuffed animals with either Hillary Clinton's or Donald Trump's, and I will be my own basket of deplorables.
That is genius.
That's what I think I'm going to do.
That is very good. That is very good.
I'll go with you. You could be one and I'll be the other.
Sounds good to me. Except that I'll be the promiscuous version of it.
Pumpkins. You want to talk about pumpkins?
No, I don't want to talk pumpkins. Now I just want to talk about what I'm going to do on Halloween. But let's talk pumpkins.
All right.
So what tips do you have for people today on pumpkins?
Well, the biggest tip is, you carve your pumpkins and then they get old and they end up looking like, Clint Eastwood in a couple of days, right? You don't want that. And it's an easy fix. All you need to do is you need to spray the hollowed out pumpkin with some sort of antiseptic spray.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can use a WD-40 if you don't have any of that, use lemon.
Yeah.
But the antiseptic spray is the best. And that'll keep it sort of firmer and not sort of caving in on itself. And when you are carving the pumpkin, you should use an ice cream scooper.
Oh, that's smart.
Your hands get kind of disgusting, as you know, and it's just way easier. So those are my two favorite pumpkins.
Yeah, I love that pumpkin one. That's always a big hit for us every Halloween on social media and everything. And people, I think, some people, if you're going to do the WD-40 method and do it on the inside, obviously don't use a candle in there because that's no good.
Yes.
But there's lots of other ways. Some people online like to light their pumpkins from the inside with Christmas lights.
Yep.
If you have a plug anywhere near, or even if you get those Christmas lights with the battery pack, it's kind of first of all, it's sort of a nice little glow in there. And then you don't have to worry about, burning your house down or, hurting your kids fire is fire.
Fire is
Why
fire.
not just
fire
use...
is a 4-letter word, Jen. I want to remind you of that, okay?
Very, very true. So what about candy? Do you guys get a lot of trick-or-treaters at your house?
Yeah, we get tons, which I love. So what I would suggest if you want to save money is... it's sort of counterintuitive, but if you wait until the end, like right before Halloween, like the day before, the sales typically start then, particularly in like the drugstore. Sometimes the supermarkets don't, but any of the drugstores that have these big candy sections now will go 50 to 75% off.
Oh, very
so
nice.
it's like your procrastination actually works to your advantage.
Yeah,
right here,
in this case. And I know Jeannie always tells people if you have different amount of trick-or-treaters on different years, then to write a memo to yourself on your phone or your calendar, whatever you do. So the next year it pops up and it says, buy 5 bags of candy or 10 bags of candy or whatever it is. So, when you're not standing there in the grocery store going, do I usually get, 3 bags or 4 bags? And then you end up with all this extra candy, which of course it's the last time you ever need candy. So
it's funny. I saw on my calendar 9 bags of candy, the calendar I share with Jen. And I realized that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
At first I wondered for a second, but then I realized what she was doing.
You thought, is she going to buy 9 bags of candy and eat them all today? And then remembered Halloween was coming.
The other thing about buying candy is it definitely will be 75% off the day after Halloween. So if you're a baker and you use chocolate, you can freeze chocolate for like 6 months at least. So buy, the solid little Hershey bars or whatever, whatever you use and just freeze it. And then you have it for the next 6 months.
And they're great in cupcakes and stuff. Not even just the plain chocolate, even like the Snickers and everything. Chop some of those up and throw it in some cookie batter or whatever. You're doing
exactly
good.
Right.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
What else do you have?
My kids, and they're a little older now, but when they were younger, we always painted their faces, right? And no matter what it was, their faces were always covered. And it was always a drag getting all their paint off. And the easiest way to do it is, drum roll please, olive oil. Just a little olive oil, and you just rub it on. And the kids don't even seem to mind. It doesn't smell.
Yeah.
And of course, I have boys, so if we use any of Jeannie's, like girly stuff, they pitch a fit, the whole thing. So olive oil really works.
Get all of their green faces back to their original color again.
Smiling and, the color they're supposed to be. Absolutely. What else can I say about Halloween? Oh, what's a great tip? Those vinyl decals that everyone buys and they put on their windows. So you use them for a week or two.
Yeah.
And then next year...
The ones with like the decorations on them.
Next year you go out and buy new ones. You don't have to. They're really easy to store.
Don't they always stick together?
Yeah, but not if you do them the Who Knew way, Jen.
Wow, what a segue.
You may want to write this one down. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the decals and lay them flat on a sheet of aluminum foil. Doesn't matter whether it's the shiny side or the other side. And then you're going to put them on top of them another sheet of aluminum foil, and then just sort of gather the edges together and just store them like that.
Ooh, I love that one.
And then next year, all you have to do is take out your aluminum foil, and you got all your decorations right there.
Nice.
So maybe we'll add that to your cobwebs this year.
We have a lot of Halloween tips on our Pinterest. If you go to pinterest.com/whoknewtips, we have a whole board that's just Halloween tips from all over the internet, and people love food. So in addition to doing fun costumes, there's a lot of good fun food on the internet.
And decorations too.
Yeah, the food that is decorations. There's, like mozzarella sticks that look like Frankenstein fingers, and there's putting dry ice in your, punch and doing a Kool-Aid Mountain Dew mixture that,
what's one
looks like a,
I know we were going to just tell everyone to go to our Pinterest page, but you know what's one that's great? If you take like a rubber glove, like the doctor's gloves you can buy that are really cheap, and you fill it with, water and some dye, like red or green, and then you freeze it.
Yeah.
And then when you cut the rubber glove off, you put it in a punch bowl.
That is hilarious.
A frozen, disgusting hand in your punch
bowl. That's freaking great. I love the peeling grapes. I know that's a popular Halloween when you peel grapes so they look like eyeballs. I mean, that's the fun thing about kids, is that they're so, you just go, and these are eyeballs, or whatever it is. Another good one for that, speaking of things you can pour into other things and make things, is you can make gummy worms basically out of straws.
You sure can.
If you, it's easier if you have a box that you can put all the straws basically on end, and then you just make Jell-O how you normally would and pour them into the straws, and then they make these like long sort of worm things. So those are really fun. You can get cold spaghetti and tell your kids that those are worms. So there's a lot of really fun food ideas out there on the internet, and we have them all on our Pinterest.
Yeah,
so that's fun to check out.
Yep.
All right. So is it time for the life hack lightning round?
I think it is. I think it is.
What household object did Jeannie give us today?
Today we have baking soda.
Ooh, a favorite. A Who
Knew favorite.
So as the rules go, for those who don't know, Jeannie gives us a household object, and then Bruce and I name as many household tips involving that object as we can. And whoever thinks of the most, which is almost always me, because I have a mind like a steel trap,
and she's smarter
wins.
Than me, of course.
All right. So you go first then with baking soda.
I want to do a public service announcement about baking soda before we start. If you want to know, because baking soda lasts forever.
This counts as your tip. This counts.
Okay, it does. So if you want to test if you're using it to bake with, you need to have, it has to maintain its properties, right? So in order to find out if it's not too old to use to bake, what you want to do is you just take about 1/4 teaspoon of it and put it into 2 teaspoons of white vinegar. And if it doesn't really bubble a lot, it's time to throw it out. But of course, segueing into tip number 1, don't throw it out. At very least, put it down your garbage disposal to keep it fresh smelling, right?
Yeah, that's a great garbage disposal cleaner tip.
Indeed, and a good segue, don't you think?
Yes, into my tip, which is going to be, I straight up use baking soda as scouring powder. You buy scouring powder at the store to clean tubs or stainless steel sinks, and I just use baking soda, and it seems to work just as well. It's got that bicarbonate cleaning power, whatever it is, and really with the scouring powder, what you want is the abrasive action, which is what baking powder is. So you just pour it straight onto your sink, into your tub, whatever you want, get a wet sponge, and go at it.
I have one, and you might think it's disgusting, but it's really not. And I'm actually doing this today because I'm traveling, as you know, this afternoon for about 5 days. So if you have milk that's going to expire, what you want to do is just put a little bit of baking soda and shake it into the milk, and that'll keep it about a week or two beyond the expiration date.
I love that tip, too, if you go to make coffee and you take milk in your coffee, and it's like a little bit, you think maybe a little bad, and you like you can put baking soda in it, and it actually neutralizes the whatever it is, and you can use it for one more time. Does that count as a tip? That's different.
I think it does. So does that mean it's my turn? Because I have another one.
Go for it.
Game on here, Jen.
Yeah, baking soda.
And this, I feel kind of bad because this really should be your tip, but it's my tip because I don't have cats and you have cats.
Mm-hmm.
But the litter box.
Yeah.
The litter box, my friend, you put some baking soda in with the litter and it absolutely works on odors.
Yeah, it's good for odor neutralization. I've got a good one. So if you are cooking and there's a grease spatter, like the grease spatters up and gets on your clothes, grab baking soda, or if you don't have baking soda, cornstarch will even do, and sprinkle it on there the second it happens, because the baking soda will start to absorb some of that grease and that will, immediately stop it from staining. You'll still have to do a little, put some stain remover on it, or if you don't have stain remover, some dishwashing liquid, but that baking soda will start getting the oil out.
That's a great tip. I'll tell you where I think baking soda fails. And I know you and I may, exchange gunfire over this, but I don't love it in the refrigerator, which is ironic because that's how they sell baking soda now.
Yeah.
Like, open it up and put it in your refrigerator.
I always have a thing of baking soda in my fridge.
We
can agree to disagree.
A hollowed out orange with old coffee grounds. Believe it or not. I think that's really more effective.
Does that count as a baking soda tip? If your tip is to not use baking soda?
Yeah, no, that's
I'll give that
public
one to you.
Service announcement.
I have one. We've done this before on the podcast, but I will say it again because it's the life hack lightning round. You can clean silver with baking soda in a weird way. Now, you can also use salt. I think a lot of times we tell people salt because most people have salt on hand for sure. But you can use baking soda. And what you do is you get a bowl. You put aluminum foil in it. Shiny side up, you always say.
Yep.
And then put your jewelry or silver or whatever you need polished in it. Fill the bowl with warm water and then dunk like a spoonful of baking soda in there. And there's this whole scientific process that will transfer the tarnish from the silver into sort of the bath that you have going, and then you just take it out, wipe it off with a paper towel or a dry cloth, and it's beautiful.
Going to declare you the winner because that is probably my favorite tip, and I didn't think of it. What's important is you got to make sure the silverware touches the aluminum foil. And you put the baking soda in the hot water, and it really smells. It stinks as the tarnish comes off.
If it's tarnishy enough, yeah.
If it's tarnishy enough. So.
I have one really good baking soda tip that I want to say though, even though I already won. This is just my victory lap.
Yes.
My victory lap is that you can use it for an air freshener. That you put baking soda in. I know you like to use vodka and water. That's why you don't remember that one.
I like to use vodka on everything.
I know, but you put baking soda and water in a spray bottle and shake it up, and then it's a perfectly good room deodorizer. Just shake it every time you use it.
That's right. You are really the victor here.
Yes.
Yeah, you have pumped me.
Always.
So, congratulations.
Well, this was great. We're going to have some more tips for you in 2 weeks, of course, as we always do. We have a lot more Christmas tips than Halloween tips, so this is just a little preview for in a couple months. And we have some really good Thanksgiving tips too. That'll be in a couple.
And we all, of course, want to know what you end up with for your single Halloween costume. I'll tell you.
It's
how
not what I am; it's what I do. But that's not for the podcast. Thanks, Bruce.
Great, Jen. A lot of fun again.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify. And find us on social media at Who Knew Tips. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. What else, Bruce? We've got everything. We do it all.
All of it.
And, of course, you can always find us at quickanddirtytips.com/whoknew, our home, where we have all of these tips and so much more. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.